Well, Luke, thanks for joining us on Bomber TV. You've started as the People Performance Manager at the club. Can you give us an insight into what that role actually contains?
Sure, yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's great to be here. Firstly, really enjoying being back at Clubland. It's been 3 years since I've been out, so yeah, really enjoying my first couple of weeks here and been super impressed. So essentially, I'll work pretty closely with both the coaches and the players, largely to do with their personal development. From a coaching point of view, obviously really important. It's a pretty young, relatively inexperienced coaching group under John and Neildy and Harves, obviously. So really working on facilitating opportunities for them to grow and develop. And that clearly links with the players as well, and particularly the leadership group and a really good sort of young emerging group of leaders as well. So I guess encompassing both of them and working with Lisa, who's the head of essentially HR here, and Richo as well. So it's a pretty broad sort of remit, I guess, but sort of finding my feet here in the first couple of weeks.
You've met with the leadership group a couple of times. What's been your first impressions of them and I guess the values and the standards that they want to uphold at the footy club?
Oh, you're really impressed with them all individually first, and yeah, I guess the first couple of weeks you're a bit of a fly on the wall sitting in meetings and stuff, and one thing that's really stood out is the player empowerment and a lot of the meetings, be it footy or otherwise related, are really strongly driven by the players, which is a good thing, I think. So that's really impressed me. And yeah, we had a sort of a value session this week. Clearly coming out of a couple of difficult years, working into a period now where the team's a lot more settled. With John and his sort of mentors establishing some values around the team. We had a good session the other day where all the players and all the footy department were invited to sort of be involved and give their feedback as to what it means to them, and there was some good discussion to come out of that. So yeah, so far so good.
We see a lot of people leave Clubland and go to the AFL. You've sort of done it in reverse. What was the reason that made you want to come to Essendon?
Oh, no, initially I think, finishing your playing career, there's always a bit of uncertainty, and I was fortunate that an opportunity opened up to go and learn and work at the AFL, and I think probably my initial thought was to stay around Clubland, but I'm glad that I sort of went away from a club for a couple of years and got a bit of a look at the game from a different lens, I think, and you probably appreciate a few things that you might have taken for granted when you just played for all those years. So that was good experience as well, and met some good people at the AFL and developed some relationships there, which hopefully will help coming back to Clubland. So where the umpires come in and present to the group today, so that was interesting listening to them. Having done a bit of work with them over the last couple of years. So. But I think, always, having been at a couple of clubs and played for 12 or 13 years, it was always probably my intention to come back to a club. And it's obviously a new club, but footy clubs are great places, and this is certainly no exception.
And you do have some connections to Essendon. You went to school with Job. You've obviously kept in contact with him, and you played with BJ. Did that sort of help? Did you seek their guidance when the role came up and the opportunity came up?
Not so much Job. I probably hard to track him down. I think he's over pouring coffees or something in New York. But no, yeah, you're right. I went to school from year 5 really with Job and Matt O'Hanlon, who is plays a prominent role here. Obviously at the footy club, has for a few years, and then Dan Richardson was appointed, so I knew him pretty well. And BJ, as you said, I was a teammate of his for 8 years. So. That's the footy world a bit, isn't it? There are connections everywhere, but you're right. That's sort of certainly helped make the decision as well.
Well, Luke, thanks for your time. All the best for the role. We look forward to seeing you around the club a lot more this season.
Thanks, Jez. Thanks.